Hello, everyone, again. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar is with Google, and the topic is going to be advancing iOS measurement in practice, specifically how marketers can get clearer performance insights and stronger campaign results using Google's integrated conversion measurement. The last few years have made iOS measurement even harder, less access to identifiers, more privacy expectations, and more pressure on marketers to continue delivering profitable growth. And what has changed recently is that the industry has started to roll out measurement innovation that are both privacy preserving and practically useful for day-to-day optimization. In this session, we're going to cover what's changing in the iOS measurement landscape, what the ICM is, how it works, what impact you should expect to see in adjust reporting, how to interpret those numbers, and then exactly what you would need to do to enable it. So quick intros before we dive in. Joining us from Google is Vlad Popa-Florea, global product lead for apps at Google. I'm Ozgun, lead solution engineer at Adjust. Today, together with Vlad, we're going to go deeper into what ICM is, how Google is approaching it, and I'll connect that with what you will see inside the Adjust. So here is the agenda. What we're going to cover today is basically first the iOS measurement landscape, what's changing and where the gaps still are. Then we're going to talk about the ICM, what it is, why it exists. And the third title will be how to interpret the ICM. We're going to move into the impact side of things, what changes in the performance visibility and optimization when you implement it. And then how to interpret those ICM numbers. And under the next steps, we're gonna share what's required technically and what to switch on in Adjust Suite. And finally, we're gonna wrap up with your questions in the Q&A section at the end. So let's get started with the landscape. So at the very high level, iOS measurement has still some gaps, right? So marketers today are managing the fragmented customer journeys. Some signals are real-time and event-based, but some are delayed, like scan, for example. And some are simply not available depending on the consent and platform-based policies. So that creates a very practical problem. If you can't clearly see what's driving your conversions, then it's really hard to confidently answer important questions like what's my ROI, where should my budget go to next, what should I scale, pause, or test. So we're gonna show how ICM helps close those gaps so your reporting becomes more actionable, especially for optimizing iOS campaigns in this privacy preserving world. Let's ground this in what we are seeing with the consent. ATT opt-in rates have been slowly climbing. So as of 2025, Adjust reporting shows an industry average around roughly 35% of users who are shown the prompt consenting. That's directionally positive, which is a great news for us. But there is the key point for measurement teams. Even when opt-in improves, a large share of traffic still doesn't have access to those traditional identifiers like IDFA, which means the deterministic attribution coverage will never be complete using identifiers alone. Like the number is never going to be 100%, right? So for marketeers, the question becomes, how do we close measurement gaps in a way that privacy aligned, but still gives us the level of clarity and speed we need to optimize the campaigns? So that's the problem that ICM is designed to help solve. In this slide, we highlighted why iOS measurement is still challenging while also representing a significant opportunity for advertisers. So first, spend on iOS is increasing. So advertisers are investing more and more, and many are leaning back into the growth as the measurement improves. Adjust data shows that in 2025, iOS spend increased 24% year over year. The second factor here is the scan with the new name and attribution kit continues to evolve. Apple adds new functionalities, new features, and continue to updates which can improve the privacy alignment. But also this adds more complexity for teams trying to interpret those numbers constantly, right? So that's one of the important factors here. The third one, across the board, privacy-centric solutions are becoming more necessary, not just because of the platform-based policies, but also due to the regulations and the broader shift toward the privacy-first expectations. The best example could be the DMA from Europe here, right? And finally, and more importantly, on-device attribution approaches are becoming more favored because they are designed to preserve privacy while still improving the measurement quality. So the direction is clear, right? So the ecosystem is moving toward the privacy preserving measurements that can still support the real business decisions. And that's exactly where ICM fits. With that context, I'll hand over to Vlad to walk us through how Google is approaching and what ICM enables in practice.
Thank you, Ozgun. And hi, everyone. For those of you who've probably used app campaigns with Google, you may know that this is Google's first fully automated campaign. And we're really proud of what we've accomplished so far. And really, across our multiple user platforms, such as search, YouTube, and our vast display network, Google is really greatly positioned to meet the most valuable iOS users. And I think this really highlights Google's role in influencing user behavior and creating opportunities for app discovery across numerous user placements. And again, for example, Google is the number one touch point consumers say lets them make smart and informed decisions. So with that, I want to introduce and talk a little more about what adjusting Google's latest measurement innovation is. Integrated conversion measurement is an exciting new solution we launched last year, which is available to all Adjust customers. It unlocks more comprehensive and accurate cross-network attribution across iOS campaigns in your third-party app attribution partner reporting interfaces, such as Adjust. It provides significant benefits to you, including more real-time and event-level reporting of your iOS campaign performance, and all without compromising user privacy. Let's get into the specifics of our solution. So integrated conversion measurement, or ICM in short, the way it works is by increasing conversion observability and enabling better conversion representation in probabilistic reporting, right? That's when traditional identifiers are usually limited. And specifically on iOS, right? Advertisers like you all will get improved reporting for app conversions from users using iOS 14 and later devices. And with more accurate cross-network attribution conversion reporting, you will be able to make faster, more informed business decisions and improve ultimately your return on ad spend. ICM is powered by unique privacy-preserving measurement innovations, such as our on-device conversion measurement using event data solution. And if you've been running iOS app campaigns with Google Ads, you're likely familiar with the initial version of our on-device conversion measurement solution. That version leverages your first-party data, like email addresses or phone numbers, to enhance the visibility of observed conversions within Google Ads. And then we've expanded the solution to further improve conversion visibility at the event level. So how does this expanded solution work? It uses de-identified temporary app event data, such as those derived from device signals and timestamps, to improve iOS campaign optimization and reporting. And leveraging unique privacy-centric technologies and techniques, it ensures no identifiable information ever leaves a user's device or is disclosed to external parties, and that includes Google. So ultimately, a key benefit to implementing on-device conversion measurement using event data is that it unlocks access to exactly the solution that we're talking about, which is integrated conversion measurement. So now that we've covered the specifics of our two measurement innovations, let's examine how they actually power your Adjust reporting for Google Ads. So how does it work? And we've really partnered and collaborated closely with Adjust to focus on accuracy and provide reporting you can trust. And validation is a key component of how our integrated conversion measurement solution works with Adjust, enabling higher reporting precision and confidence. So let's walk through like high level what the overall flow would look like with Adjust. So first and foremost, starting from the install, a user installs an app that has implemented the on-device conversion measurement using event data technology. The second step is then that Adjust sends Google an attribution request for the app install conversion. The third step is that Google will respond back, indicating whether the conversion belongs to Google and whether the conversion is deterministic or probabilistic. And then we're going to add several device parameters to the conversion, such as timestamp or campaign ID. The fourth step is that Adjust then validates the response using their proprietary algorithms. And then finally, if the response is validated, the claim moves forward as a last click attribution, right? And then Adjust attributes the install to Google. Adjust then reports attribution to you, and it notifies Google that they've been credited with the install. So pretty simple steps overall. And I'll pass it on to Ozgun, who's going to talk a little bit about the impact that we've seen so far with ICM.
Thank you, Vlad. So now we have covered what ICM is, how it works, and from now on, let's talk about the impact side of things. So in this section, we're going to be focusing on what you should expect to change once ICM is enabled, what shifts in reporting, how you will see it inside the Adjust, and what kinds of improvements early adopters have shared with us. So let's first take a look at where the impact shows up in Adjust reporting. So the most obvious change is in your overviews and your user acquisition dashboards. You will typically see more conversions attributed to Google, right? So once the ICM is enabled, because the measurement gaps are being reduced. So for the deeper analysis, of course, you can go into your raw data reporting, but we're going to address it in the later section. So what you should expect is that ICM results won't perfectly match every other iOS measurement framework because different systems have different attribution rules, timing, reporting methodologies, and so on. So when you evaluate your performance, focus on consistency within a methodology on whether you now have enough signal to optimize confidently rather than expecting perfect alignment across the systems. So let's make it real with some examples. So the first case study here is from our client Codeway. This case study shows a very common situation, I would say, here. The team had limited visibility into their iOS campaign effectiveness, which made it hard to assess the true performance and allocate the budget confidently. But after enabling the integration, the solution gave them a clearer, privacy-aligned view of campaign impact. And the results were meaningful, I would say, like 6x increase in iOS installs attributed from Google App campaigns, more confidence in budget allocation and optimization, clearer signals on where to scale. Another example is from Trip.com. They highlighted the core challenge that many teams face. Under the ATT constraints, it can be difficult to gain full visibility and maximize the efficiency of iOS investment with app campaigns. Trip.com was one of the early adopters of ICM. They have implemented the on-device measurement solution of Google via Firebase SDK and also Adjust SDK, which unlocked more real-time and comprehensive data. And the results that they have shared with us include 5x reported install volume increase via Adjust, 15% attributed install volume increase, and 8% lower CPI. So again, the improved measurement visibility can directly support better optimization decisions and efficiency outcome. So when you enable ICM, you will see changes in reporting, right? So then the question becomes, how do you interpret those numbers, those changes, especially when you are comparing across multiple measurement sources? So in this section, we're going to cover But you will see in adjust raw data how to identify the probabilistic attribution in exports, why discrepancies between scan and probabilistic attribution are expected. So here's an example on your screen, which I exported from our system. As you can see, there is a bold column, which is probabilistic. This is a sort of new placeholder to identify conversions that were attributed through the probabilistic method. So in this context, this is ICM installs. So practically, that helps you to answer questions like how much of the uplift is coming from the probabilistic attribution. How does the performance differ by campaign, geo, or time? Are we seeing consistent patterns in quality metrics when we separate the deterministic versus probabilistic? In this slide, we are going to answer a very simple and important question. Are we seeing the full value of Google Ads investments on iOS? When the ICM is enabled, the answer would be much closer to yes, right? So across these verticals, it just observes higher click to install conversion rates because more installs are properly attributed back to Google engagements. So that leads to clearer performance reporting, fewer blind points, and more confidence when deciding where to scale. And as I said earlier, many have been using Apple's ad attribution kit, formerly known as Scan, as a way to gauge the performance of your Google campaigns. So you might be asking yourself, should I expect my ICM and Scan numbers to match? Like simply answer is still no, right? So discrepancies are expected because these systems are using different methodologies. We listed four, I would say, common reasons why those discrepancies are normal. So different attribution, first one is the different attribution look back windows. So scan windows are fixed, while probabilistic reporting may use different windows depending on the implementation and rules. And the second one, the conversion delays. So as you know, scan postbacks are delayed, but ICM signals are showing up closer to the real time, which matters a lot because if you are actively adjusting your bids and budgets, the real-time data gets higher priority. So the third one is the geography. Depending on your current availability and your policy, the certain regions may be covered may not be covered in the same way. So one example could be here again from the EU users is the EEA. And the fourth one is the view-through engagements. So view-through treatment differs across those methodologies, right? So some of your scan conversions are already view-through engagements. So currently ICM does not claim view-through engagements. So VTCs will be added later this year. So in this slide, the key takeaway here is that the discrepancies are expected and they don't necessarily indicate a problem. So these are different measurement frameworks at the end of the day, built with different constraints and goals. Now we have almost covered how to interpret the numbers and why the differences exist, right? So now I'll hand over back to Vlad again to walk you through how to get started and what you would need to do to take advantage of ICM.
Thanks, Ozgun. So yeah, let's talk about how to get started. Integrated conversion measurement is currently available in open beta to all advertisers. And to enable, you need to get started by first and foremost, obviously having an active iOS app campaign for installs with Google Ads. Second of all, you need to update to the latest version of your Adjust SDK, as documented in the Help Center article, the latest version being a minimum version 5.4.1. Third is you need to implement the on-device conversion measurement using event data solution. You can do so by updating to the latest Google Analytics for Firebase SDK, a minimum of 11.14.0. And then last but not least, important is to enable the probabilistic matching toggle in the Google Ads integration settings in Adjust. This step allows Adjust to share additional data with Google to activate the new attribution integration. And then if you want to learn more about like how this probabilistic modeling toggle works, when the toggle is off, essentially adjust is just sharing dual consented users with device IDs with Google. And when the toggle is turned on, adjust will query Google on all types of events, dual consented and non-dual consented, and Google will be able to claim based on our probabilistic modeling, as Good mentioned before. And so Adjust will be able to, first and foremost, measure dual consented devices, query Google and measuring non-dual consented devices using modeling, and enrich Google's data for your optimization purposes via post backend. Obviously, you can control and you can toggle this probabilistic attribution off or on. So to summarize the introduction of probabilistic attribution through integrated conversion measurement for Google Ads, it's a crucial improvement for you all as marketers. And now we're joining hands with Adjust and innovating in order to completely measure iOS activity, where we will be able to provide Google advertisers the duplicated, real-time, granular attribution within the measurement framework that has effectively become, as we all know, an industry standard. So we are very excited to announce that integrated conversion measurement is already available in open beta to all of you. Simply follow the steps we've previously outlined to get access to it. And if you have, you can also reach out to your Google account manager to learn more. We're gonna pass it. We're gonna pass it to Ozgun, and we're gonna go through some frequently asked questions to at the end of the webinar.
Yeah, so we have already picked some of your questions here, but if we don't get yours, don't worry, we will be following up afterwards and provide more details. And let's go through the top one first. So the first question is, does Google view ICM as a long-term replacement for scan, or are they designed to function as parallel measurement solutions?
Yeah, good question. I think it's the one that we get common, but we developed ICM as a solution to a very common challenge that many marketers have had for so long, which is the need for real-time, high-fidelity, granular attribution reporting in order to better understand the ad networking campaign performance. And we realize Scan has been the industry practice for so long. And so we're committed as Google to support both ICM and Scan for the time being. And while we have seen tremendous growth from advertisers who adopt ODM and ICM, we also know that Scan is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah. The second question is that is ICM automatically enabled for all Edge's customers running iOS app campaigns? So as you know, previously we had closed beta, we have tested the solution, but now, as Vlad mentioned earlier, the ICM solution is available for everyone. So as we covered previously, to benefit from ICM reporting, what you would need to do is to have the required Adjust SDK version in place, implement the Firebase SDK and on-device measurement requirements, and then a probabilistic modeling toggle should be enabled in Adjust Suite for the Google Ads modules. The next question is, which regions currently support ICM?
Yeah, also good question. ICM is technically enabled globally, with the exception of traffic from users originating in the European Economic Area, the United Kingdom, and Switzerland. So traffic from this region specifically will be available in ICM and in your Adjust reporting in the upcoming months.
And the fourth question is, how does implementation of ICM impact Google's position within a just attribution waterfall? Does it introduce any specific advantages for Google compared to the other ad networks? Really good question. So the short answer is no. ICM does not give Google a special advantage in the just attribution waterfall. What it just does is basically applying validation and the attribution logic constantly, right? So deterministic signals are still have the higher confidence level than the probabilistic signals, and your configured attribution settings still govern these outcomes. But also in Adjust infrastructure, what changes with the ICM integration is the availability of attribution signals in this privacy constrained user flows. So in practice, you may see more Google attributed conversions because the gaps are reduced, but the treatment is still governed by the same measurement principles that we have. All right, the next question is, does ICM support web to app?
Yeah, also good question, something that we get pretty often. ICM only supports app campaigns for installs at this moment. However, we do plan on introducing support for web to app journeys in the upcoming months. And specifically, there's two types of journeys here. First of all, ICM will support re-engagement, meaning app conversions coming from web campaigns from users who already have the app installed. And the second one is app installs, meaning new app installs coming from web campaigns. So we're aiming to support both in the upcoming months.
All right. So will turning on ICM make the numbers in Google and adjust match more closely? So we also discussed this previously, but the main thing is that we may expect to see some reduced gaps, right? So you may still see some differences between Google Ads scan and adjust reporting. So these are the different methodologies applied differently based on the attribution settings you have. Delays and reporting times can be different. And also you may have some configured conversion rules on adjust side, which is filtering some of those attribution data, right? So with the ICM solution, our goal is not to have the perfect matching. Like we will never have the 100% matching scenario here, but our goal is to provide more complete and more actionable visibility to our clients. So I think it's the last question. Can we use ICM for Android campaigns?
Yeah, I know this webinar has been dedicated to iOS, but yes, ICM is available for Android app campaigns as well. So specifically, it's going to cover global traffic, and this includes European traffic, which is, I know, not covered with iOS, but on Android it is. So it's going to cover global traffic from users where tracking is limited, or users who opted out of device permissions. And as of late January, no allow listing is needed, and all customers can use ICM for Android with Adjust.
All right, great news for the Android users. And with that, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and your great questions. As I said, if we didn't get your question in this live session, we will be following up with you after this session. But if you need any additional information, if you need support, you can also reach out to your Google account manager or your HS customer success manager. And thanks so much and wish you a great rest of your day.
Thank you all. Have a great day.